Namaste, welcome to Geeta's Kitchen. Today day 3 of Navratri. Let's see the prasadam we make. We are going to make pal payasam, that is a kheer using rice and milk. And for the sundal we are going to use peanuts or groundnuts. Many of you have written to me that we don't use dal during a Navratri Vrat or we don't use rice. As I said earlier in my video, there are differences from region to region. In South India, we do use rice. For example, we make sakra pongal, where you have rice and moong dal and jaggery and offer it as naivedya. Even in the temples, this is offered, and variety rice is also offered. Sundal with different pulses is prepared. So the practice vary from place to place, region to region. So do whatever, follow whatever is traditional in your family. And as per the North Indian tradition, the day 1 naivedyam is cow's ghee, day 2 is sugar, and today day 3 is milk. For making the pal payasam, I have taken half liter of full cream milk, bringing it to a boil, and once it starts boiling, reduce the flame and allow it to continue cooking. Here I have 2 tablespoons of raw rice. You can take whichever rice. If you have basmati rice, you take, otherwise the regular raw rice which you use at home, you can take that too. I have soaked it for half an hour. Just pulse it in your blender jar so that it is broken into bits. We don't want a very fine powder, just pulse it once or twice. See, when the milk is boiling well like this, add this pulsed rice and cook the rice in the milk. Use a heavy kadai and keep stirring it from time to time so that it doesn't stick to the base of the kadai. See, check the rice. Now it is about 50% cooked. Now I am adding about 1/4 cup of sugar to this. Give it a good mix and allow it to boil for another 5 or 6 minutes till the sugar is dissolved and this payasam thickens a little bit more. See, the rice has cooked well and the payasam has also thickened nicely. So generally for a South Indian pal payasam, we don't add any other dry fruits or nuts or any flavoring also. It is just the flavor of this condensed milk which predominates the pal payasam, so we leave it as it is. But if you want to make it like a North Indian kheer, you are free to add any badam, kaju, pista, whatever is your choice, or cardamom powder and saffron. But I am going to leave it like a typical South Indian pal payasam. See, perfectly done, thick and creamy pal payasam. Day 3 sweet prasadam pal payasam is ready. For the groundnut sundal, I had taken the groundnuts, soaked them for 1 hour and then pressure cooked them for 2 whistles. See, it is done. We can drain out the water. Also, I added a pinch of salt while cooking. Remaining salt we will add while making the sundal. So, heat a tablespoon of oil. Now add some mustard seeds, urad dal, 1 dry red chilli, a little bit of hing, two green chilli and a few curry leaves. Stir fry them, then add the cooked groundnut. Add the remaining salt.
This is Geeta's favorite sundal.
Oh yes, I am sure my viewers know this. Over the past 6 years, they know my partiality and my separate place for groundnuts in whatever I cook. Now add about 2 tablespoons of fresh grated coconut. Give it all a good mix and it's done and ready. On day 3, we offer our naivedyam to Ma Durga in the form of Chandraghanta and pray that she alleviates all our worldly problems. And do definitely listen on to the story which follows the recipe video. We'll meet again. Namaste, welcome to Geeta's Kitchen. Sarvamangala Mangalye Shive Sarvartha Sadhake Sharanye Triambake Gauri Narayani Namostute. This Navratri, as we all know, we pray to Ma Durga, and one of the prayers which is chanted during this period, most of you will be knowing, is known as the Chandi known as Chandi or Devi Saptashloki or Devi Mahatmyam. This has got 700 slokas in it, and it is a very powerful one. Now all of us may not have time to recite this entire Chandi part, and it is said that once Shiva asked Devi, saying, Devi, you are so compassionate to your devotees and you are ever ready to help them out whenever they face any problems. So why don't you give them some simple sloka which they can recite to get your blessings. So then Devi says, Devyuvacha, that is Devi says, Shrunudeva pravakshami kalau sarveshta sadhanam maya tavaiva snehenam pya ambastuti prakashyate. So she says, out of my compassion, I will tell you the ambastuti which will help the devotees in overcoming their problems. So this ambastuti, also known as Devi Saptashloki or Durga Saptashloki. So Mother Durga has been very compassionate, and for all of us she has given us just 7 shlokas. We don't have the time to sit and recite the 700 shlokas of the Chandi part. The Chandi part has 700 shlokas. As I told you, it is called as Saptashloki, 700. The Bhagavad Gita also has 700. But here Devi says, I will give you just 7 shlokas, which if you recite every day, I will be pleased with you and bless you always. So these 7 shlokas are known as Durga Saptashloki. Om asya Durga Saptashloki stötramantrasya narayana rsih anustup chandah Shri mahäkäli mahälaksmi mahasarasvatyo devatäh Shri Durga prityartham saptasloki durgäpäthe viniyogah. So it says that this saptasloki mantra has been, the rishi is narayana rsih, and it is set in the anustup meter, and it is in praise of the 3 forms of Devi, mahäkäli, who is the controller of time itself, mahälaksmi, the controller of all wealth, and mahasarasvatyo, the embodiment of all wisdom. So this Saptashloki, I will give you the 7 shlokas in the description box too, and each day we will deal with 1 shloka at a time and a little narrative about each. So for those of you, somebody had told, Madam, I am residing abroad, I don't know these shlokas. These are very, very simple shlokas which you can get familiar with and recite easily at home. So the first shloka is jñaninamapi chetamsi Devi Bhagavati hisa baladakrisya mohaya mahamaya prayachati. Just 2 lines. Jñaninamapi chetamsi Devi Bhagavati hisa baladakrisya mohaya mahamaya prayachati. This particular shloka can be found in the first chapter in the conversation between sage Medhas and the king Suratha and the Vaishya Samadhi. So that 7 shlokas are taken from different chapters of the Chandi part. So they will not all appear together at one portion. They are taken from different chapters. So this is the first sloka which we are going to discuss today. There was once a king, his name was Suratha. He was ruling very ably and he was a just king and everything was prosperous. But as you know, in those days all the kingdoms had invasions from neighboring countries. So it also happened that once some other kings got together and invaded Suratha's kingdom. Now Suratha's ministers, whom he thought to be loyal, were not actually so, and they somehow got in touch with the enemy king and Suratha was defeated. So he had to flee from his kingdom. So in the pretext of going to the forest, he got on his horse and started to leave the kingdom. When he reaches the forest, his mind is very disturbed. He keeps thinking back about the kingdom which he has left behind. He keeps thinking back of the subjects, that is people who were so dear to him. In fact, it is even said that he had one particular royal pet elephant which he was very fond of, and his mind kept going back to that too. He roams around in the forest. Finally, he finds the ashram of a rishi. The rishi's name is Medas. So he sits there and is contemplating on this. When he comes in contact with another merchant or trader, a Vaishya, his name is Samadhi. So when Suratha asks Samadhi, what brings you here? Samadhi says, I was a merchant. I used to do a lot of trading. I was very prosperous, earned a lot of money. But unfortunately, my immediate family, my wife was very evil and my sons also, they only wanted the wealth which I earned, and they took all my wealth and they threw me out of the house. So I have been just roaming about here and there, and finally I have reached this place. But what really puzzles me is that in spite of all this ill treatment which my own family has given me, my mind keeps going back to them. I keep thinking about their welfare. I am wondering, how is my wife? I am wondering, are my children happy? Small things, have they eaten their food? Is their health okay? Normally, my mind should have become hardened and I should have stopped thinking about them. But yet, in spite of all this, my mind is deluded. I keep going back to them. I don't understand what is the reason for this. So, Suratha and Samadhi both face a very similar kind of problem. So then they decide to go and ask the Rishi Medas, who was living in a hermitage nearby. So Rishi Medas listens to them both, and he then tells them that all this delusion of your mind, your confusion, is the power of Mahamaya. Jñaninamapi chetamsi Devi Bhagavati hisa Aladakrisya mohaya mahamaya prayachati. Jñaninamapi chetamsi. She says, even of the great jñanis, the great wise men also, jñaninamapi chetamsi. Cheta is their consciousness. Devi Bhagavati hisa. Even in their minds, it is Devi Bhagavati Ma who in the form of Maya creates this delusion, this attachment now and this confusion. So we have to now get rid of this confusion, get rid of this ignorance, detach yourself, and then understand that the Supreme Mother Devi is present in all the beings. The entire world which we see around us is nothing but the Supreme Mother alone in various forms. And this delusion comes from the different gunas which you have, the tamoguna, rajoguna and sattva-guna. Yesterday when we were discussing the Mahishasuramardini, we spoke about the rajoguna, the feeling of pride in us which has to be destroyed. Now we are talking about the tamoguna. So here there is a story where many years ago, during the Pralaya time, that is at the end of one yuga, Mahavishnu is lying down on his Adisesha in the sea. And at that time, two demons, Madhu and Kaitaba, come out from the dirt of the ears of Vishnu. And they start attacking Brahma. Where is Brahma? Brahma is situated on the lotus which comes out from the navel of Mahavishnu. And Brahma doesn't know what to do. He needs somebody to help him fight these demons. And then he prays to Mahamaya, Devi. He says, Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Nidra Rupena Sanstita Namastasyai 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 Namo Namaha. It is Devi who is present even in the form of sleep in all of us. She is present in the form of hunger. She is present in the form of thirst. There is nothing which is not the roop of Devi. So, Brahma prays to Devi, who is now present as Nidra Devi in the eyes of Hari or Vishnu, and prays to her to wake up Vishnu so that he can help in fighting these demons. It is said that Vishnu wakes up from his yoga nidra, and then this fight between Vishnu and the Asuras goes on for nearly 5,000 years, and these Asuras think that they are very strong and what is this Vishnu, what can he do to me, and they become very proud and arrogant. So much so that they tell Mahavishnu, see, anyhow you are going to be defeated. So, you do one thing, we are ready to grant you a boon. The demons are telling Mahavishnu, you ask whatever you want and we will give it to you. So, Vishnu says, are you sure? Will you promise? And yes, definitely we will keep up our promise. And Vishnu says, there is only one thing which I want to do. I want to kill both of you. Now, these demons are caught, they have given their word. But yet again, they are so arrogant. They say, okay, you can kill us, but we have one condition. You should kill us where there is no water. They think that they are very intelligent because they have seen around them the entire world is covered by the waters of the Pralaya, the huge deluge. There is water everywhere. There is no place which is not covered by water. So they think, oh, very intelligently we have given this condition to Vishnu. He cannot kill us now because there is water everywhere. So Vishnu says, okay, agreed. And then he starts fighting, lifts them up and keeps them on his thighs. The water has not come to that level. So he keeps them on his thighs and finishes them off with his Sudarshan Chakra. So this is the place at which we have the the first shloka of Devi Saptashloki of jñaninamapi chetamsi. What is the inner meaning of this? This Madhu and Kaitab. Madhu means honey, Kaitab means an insect. So if we go on pursuing our desires, spending our life in pursuit of gathering of this honey, we will still continue to be only lazy and in tamoguna without having any spiritual upliftment at all. We have to get out of this ignorance that we are separate from the Devi. We have to learn that it is only Devi, the Supreme Consciousness, who is present in all beings. She is present in you, she is present in me, she is present in the bird which is flying outside, she is present in the trees, plants, everything you see around you. The entire world is nothing but her Maya. That is why she is also known as Mahamaya. So, today let us start by learning the first shloka of this Devi Saptashloki. I will give you all the shlokas I told you in the description box and we can learn about each. We often find that even very great sages and wise men also, sometimes they also face problems, maybe in the form of health issues, other ailments. We think, why should it happen? He has led such a good life. That might be due to their prarabdha, and that is where it is necessary to invoke the blessings of Mahamaya, and she is the one who resides in the minds of every being. Today, the third day of Navratri, Ma Durga is worshipped in the form of Chandraghanta. Yesterday we have seen how as Brahmacharini Durga did extreme tapas and she again got, Parvati did a lot of tapas and she again got Shiva's hand in marriage. Now Shiva, who is living like an ascetic, he comes down for the marriage procession, but it is a very strange procession because the groom himself has got just ashes smeared on his body, his hair is matted, he has got snakes around his neck. And who are the people who are following his marriage procession? They are all goblins and ascetics, and it's a very, very different kind of bridegroom procession which is coming to receive the bride. Now Parvati's mother and all relatives faint on seeing this strange and somewhat fearful procession of Shiva and his others who are coming along with him. Then Parvati assumes the form of Chandraghanta, wherein she has got a Chandra moon on her head in the shape of a bell, and out of her 10 hands she is holding various weapons, bow and spear and mace and many other items. And apart from that, in 2 of her hands she has got a lotus in one and a kamandalu, that is a water pot, in the other, to show that to her enemy she can be terrorizing, but towards her devotees she is very benevolent and ready to bless us. Then Shiva understands and he immediately changes his form into a more pleasant one, something more suited to what a bridegroom should look like, and a more peaceful form both for himself and his retinue too. And then the marriage of Shiva and Parvati takes place, which is celebrated as Shivaratri too. We are all well aware that life is very unpredictable and we might plan something whereas something else might happen totally out of the blue. So let us all pray to Devi and receive her blessings and mainly request her to give us that power of acceptance to face anything boldly, and pray to her to shower our lives with happiness always. Periva Sharanam, Jayambe. Thank you for watching the video. We'll meet again in our next episode of Navratri. Please subscribe to Geeta's Kitchen and share the video with your family and friends. Thank you.